Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Minor League Esports here for week number 5 of our regular season action. Today is it's a rough day. It's the second day. It is Sunday, and we are once again running the show in memory of Zach Hill, otherwise known to you as Brober, as a member of our broadcast team. Brober was an integral part of our broadcast team. Was a pillar for a lot of players and a lot of the broadcasters and commentators, and a lot of us here are feeling the effects of his passing. If you would like to support uh, Zach's family, there is a GoFundMe that will be posted, I hope, in the chat. Uh, it will be an absolute pleasure if any of you, if you have the money, if you have the ability to donate what you can. We would really appreciate sending the love and the money for to the family at this time to help cover the funeral costs for Zach. It has been a rough couple of days here. I personally wasn't the most familiar with Zach out of everyone in the community. However, his effect and the effect he had on all of us can still be felt to this day. And I believe we do have a short tribute video that we're going to put through for you to watch. Hopefully, this can somehow try and honor the legacy that that man left behind in the all too short time he spent on this earth. So, without further ado, here is the video.
We lost a fairly monumental figure of the community in Broba, and not just our community. He was the voice of RHL. He was a pillar over there, and I know when he was brought kind of back into the fold here at MLE, it was a welcome reunion back in the last season, and a lot of people, myself included, are going to miss Broba for the positivity and the energy that he brought to Rocket League and just to the people around him.
We will be observing for the 29 years of his life. We will be observing a 29-second moment of silence at the start of the game.
I think it's game one is going to be the big tone setter, and so whoever gets that, but we're going to throw it up to Broba here and give him the first call.
With that, we are going to pass it to our good friend Broba here for the first 29 seconds.
Of the net here as the ball gets crossed by Taki. Lettuce, nice touch by him. He's going to look for this follow-up here, grab a little bit of boost, and see if he can't get the follow-up. He's got two defenders, though. Can he bump when he bit? He hits Smurf to put it in! What a shot by Lettuce! Thought that was going to be a goal, but no. Play is still going. Zeta has an open field. That's going to be in with 11 seconds left. Dangerous. Fortunately can't get the clear, though. Dud gets it around him. Arunos is there. Can they pop it towards the net? Bojo's there. He gets the save. Arunos is there, though, and that's going to be pushed in for two.
It's RHL Rewind with Broba.
Unknowns. Both teams came in not having had to play in the qualifiers or the placements with their last competitive snow day match in the RHL all the way back at the end of June of 2019. Screwbot scored first in Game 3 when Jarmo found Roughstone with a beautiful wall-riding pass over the upper right corner of the net. Once again, both teams played well and each took multiple stabs at scoring, only to come up short against intense defense.
Bluff ball, maybe having a chance for a center here. Mars doesn't have an opportunity even with that demo, but they are still trying to put it off the backboard. Fluffball might be there, but he doesn't have the shot. It's going to get cleared away again by Vex.
Andy there for the save. Sosa gets a big clear. Is that going to be the first goal for Defiant? And it is. Sosa picks up the first point.
Thank you, Broba. Marvelously done.
As always, our ever grateful thanks to Broba for taking the call to lead us off here tonight on MLE 1.
Welcome to the following presentation of Minor League Esports on the MLE Network.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Minor League Esports here for week number 5. It is a Sunday night of action. We raise a glass to our fallen drinking buddy and comrade in Broba. I am Fallen, and joining me for tonight's action, for some high octane action, is the one and only Anod. Fellow, tonight it is a solemn, somber night, but it is a night with a lot of good action that could be taking place, and we're kicking things off with also lowest league, one of the most competitive leagues in the Foundation one.
To Broba's family and the friends of those that knew him. I personally did not know him all that well myself, but I have experiences with the mental health side of things, so I understand where the pain comes from. So moving on from that to the game as best we can. One of the cool things about this game tonight is actually that the Wolves are fielding probably the oldest, age-wise, MLE roster I have ever seen in Uper and Carshall, with a combined 110 years of age betwixt the two of them.
As a 19-year-old man, it kind of terrifies me how exactly old these two men are. Most of them are old enough to be my grandfather, which is saying a lot, in the context of things. But on the opposite side of the field, we do have two other players, of course, playing for the Ducks, Ball Don't Lie, and Dr. Barnes. Dr. Barnes playing, I believe, his first MLE series of Season 12. In fact, the only player with actual stats coming into this is Ball Don't Lie, 4-6 in series record, the 9th highest MVPR, though, in the entire league, coming off of these high-scoring, high-octane, and, well, high-quality games. Most of them have been rather close, and really, the Ducks are going to be looking to him, with half of their wins already under his belt. Maybe look to him to take control of this one as we push forward into our first game of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this should be an extremely good matchup. People look down on FL sometimes, but as they've been doing for the rest of this weekend, as we get started with this game, we are going to start off with a 29-second moment of silence for the 29 years of life for the incredible Broba. So with that, we are going to throw it to Broba to take the first call of the game.
Thank you for taking that one for us, Brober, as we get going into this one. An early goal from the Ducks. Great call there from Brober calling that one as it happened. But for the Wolves now, they've got to try and find a way off of their defensive line. A little bit of a shaky start, not showing on time. Yupa will look to try and carry this one down the field. Will actually get it past that last defender, put it on and above the net. But no follow through from Carshall to put it on target. It's off the post and wide. And now the Ducks on the counter attack. Dr. Barnes are going to try and tee one up for ball don't lie. Will sleeve it hanging in front of the net. The ball can't get up to it, and that one will go by the wayside. Minute gone. 1 goal to the good for the Ducks, but clearly could be 2 or 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point out, as that ball was getting centered up there for ball don't lie, it was actually Carshall that came in there and pushed him into his own net to keep him from being able to go up there for that shot. So the Ducks still continue to put the offensive pressure on here as Barnes makes a shot, but Carshall is able to turn it away. And so far, this defense from the Wolves is standing pretty strong, despite obviously the early goal. Looks like they're kind of collecting themselves a little bit. But Barnes putting another shot on here. Carshall trying to be there, but he's not going to be able to as Barnes gets the double tap, puts the Ducks up 2-0.
Yeah, great pressure here. Great touch there from Dr. Barnes. Just sort of throws off Carshall. Doesn't know if it's on target. Doesn't know when to go for the ball. Just looks to simply catch it, and you can't afford to take that much time on the defensive side of things. Inebriated Yupa was trying to rush back, just couldn't get there. And also, not discounting, Bordon Live was there waiting in the wings to put that one in if it didn't already go in. Ooh. But that is some great team play. Dr. Barnes teed up Bordon Live to make it a 3-goal game. Carshall could not get on the end of it, and that shot perfectly placed.
And this is what you love seeing in the Foundation League. Players already at this level understanding the importance of team play and using your players, your teammates' positioning to your advantage. Barnes getting a great pass across. The ball don't lie as he tries to make another shot himself. And the Wolves just seem like they're having such an issue winning this battle at the midfield line, which especially in twos is so important, because if you can't get out of your own net or your own defense, obviously it doesn't matter how good your defense is, you're just gonna get scored on eventually. So the Wolves definitely need to try and get something going here as they have a chance on the Ducks side of the field.
Yeah, we've seen this at even the highest levels of gameplay, let alone the bottom half of the gameplay terms from teams at RLCS level who have decided to try and play completely defensive. It doesn't work consistently, and Dr. Barnes is consistently putting these ones in. Great play there, great car control and ball control. Will slot that one home to make it 4. Very little the Wolves could do to keep him at bay, but again, coming back to that point, it just feels like he has been ever so slightly ahead of the trend in this game, and the Ducks just able to keep the Wolves in their own half. It's working dividends. That is 5 now and 4 for Barnes.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel like there's any defensive miscommunication or anything on the Wolves. It genuinely looks like they're doing the best that they can. It's just simply the fact that the Ducks are putting these balls in such awkward places for a Foundation League level player to try and save, that there's really not much that they can do as Barnes puts his 5th shot on goal. This man is staring down the barrel of a double hat trick.
Yeah, that's his 7th shot, 5th goal, and neither of the Wolves defenders know what to do off of the back of a kickoff. I am personally just sticking with Dr. Barnes. I want to see this play out now, because I feel like he is the player to watch. Looks to try and tee up another opportunity for himself. Good block there from Carshall, will keep it at bay. But that's still in front of the net, and Yupa had to clear that one away, only to have it sent straight back in. Carshall, bad touch, and Barnes finally not able to make contact with the ball consistently, and it will give the Wolves a little bit of respite, if only for a matter of seconds, as they look to try and build and push onto the offensive side.
Yeah, Barnes for a second, they're reminding us that he is in fact in Foundation League and does miss those touches. Gets a nice fake onto Carshall there though, right at the last second, as the Wolves desperately need to try and get something going here with the last minute and a half, as finally Inebriated is able to squeeze one past Ball don't lie to put the first points on the board for the Wolves.
Would you believe took one shot for the Wolves to get their first goal. Pinches that one in off of Border, and Lai was trying to make the save backwards. Good job from Yupa to put that one home, but a lot of respect from both teams here. Both of them trading nice shots and giving their thanks in chat. There's a lot of respect, there's a lot of almost mutual respect and admiration. Karshal almost buries that one in. Yupa trying to follow up, can't put it on target. It definitely feels like both teams very respectful, very knowledgeable of each other, and are very happy with how this game is going so far. Even if the Wolves are behind, I think they're just needing to settle in a little bit, and that one is a great shot, and that is a better save from Border and Lai to keep that one at bay. Minute to go in game number 1. Looks in complete control for the majority of it. The one chance that the Wolves had, they put home. And now it is 7-1. We are now moving to South America, ladies and gentlemen. MLE originating from Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a fantastic game played, honestly, from both teams. Obviously, the scoreline and the stat line being extremely in favor of the Ducks. But what we have seen from the Wolves has been a good. Their rotations are there. For foundation level players, their rotations are definitely there. They just need to kind of get the ball rolling in their favor a little earlier in the game. They're just allowing too many mistakes, just like that. That mistouch there from, I believe that was Karshal, allowing Baldo to have a chance there, but he unfortunately makes nothing of it. If they can just maintain a little bit better ball control and maybe even play just a little bit more defensively, play a little bit more of a 1-and-1 instead of having both players up on the offensive side of the 50 every time, they might start seeing just a little bit more success. And honestly, if they put more offensive pressure on, I wouldn't be surprised to see the defense of the Ducks crumble, because there really hasn't been much defense at all, as Barnes almost put another one in there.
Arguably, the reason there hasn't been much defense is because there hasn't been a need for defense. Controlling the midfield throughout the majority of game number 1 have been the Ducks. They have been the better side so far. They will take game number 1, 7-1. And one of the things I want to note is, in fact, the salaries of each player coming into this. Inebriated Juba and Karshal are both 6 salaries. They are a collective 12 salary, which is, even Foundation League levels, is quite on the low side in comparison to their opponents, Boron Lai and Dr. Barnes, an 8 and an 8.5 respectively. That's a 16.5 collective salary. There's a 4.5 gap difference here. It's a lot to try and make up in terms of pure skill and in terms of almost, it feels like, level of ability. So for the Wolves to be able to put on a series, I think they're going to need to outperform their salary by quite a fair point, and the Ducks themselves are going to have to stop being so good on offense.
Yeah, and I think, again, the big thing for the Wolves is, as I said, their rotations are actually very good. They just need to start figuring out how to put that to their advantage and start getting the in-game speed a little bit with it, like using that rotation to give a sense of quickness with how they're doing everything, which, them both being 6 salaries, is a little difficult potentially for them to understand how to do. But I think they have a chance, like I'm all for, the Cinderella story, underdog story coming into these things. The salary level is definitely going to be a big hurdle to get over, but I definitely think they have the chance to do it if they can pull some skill out of those rotations that they seem to have set up.
Yeah, and as we get game number 2 underway, the Wolves will get a pretty decent 50 there off the kickoff, but once again, Barnes just got the pace and the beat on both players. Beautiful jump from him to tee that one up. Boran Lai will slam it home on the open net. It's very hard to hit an open net, especially when the ball is coming across like that. Almost did not make contact, but flipping sideways into it. And once again, the Ducks have a very early lead in game number 2.
Yeah, good reaction time there from Baldo Lai to be able to make that goal. Just unfortunate little defensive miscommunication coming out of the Wolves there. As we see another one as Karshal bumps Uper straight into the line of Baldo Lai, who just went straight through him. But so far, as I said, the Wolves still putting on a decent showing here, but obviously the Ducks just coming out and showing how much that salary difference does seem to be making a difference, as much as the Wolves are trying to battle back from it, as Barnes is trying to fight this in the corner here, and Karshal is able to put it away. I really hope that the Wolves are able to use, as I've said, the rotations that they do seem to have down and their communication skills to hopefully get at least a couple goals on the Ducks here this game.
Yeah, and a good save there from Carshall. Fun fact about Carshall, I was actually here for his first ever event in MLE, as he will not be able to keep Dr. Barnes at bay. It was myself, Carshall, and of all people, Test Gravity. At the time of the Hawks, were all playing in a threes tournament, and we ended up getting beaten by arguably the other best threes player at the time in Doombug. It was a very interesting time of things, and Carshall always struck me as one of the nicest human beings. In terms of his gameplay, though, foundationally is quite accurate, but also you have to remember that these are not, sprite young lads playing Rocket League. These aren't, youths with their controllers. No, these are two guys with the combined age of 110. The fact that they are holding their own against an arguably much younger and arguably much more competitive throughout the season so far Ducks roster, it's really just a testament to age don't really matter in video games. You can be whatever age you want, as long as you've just got the heart and the will and the ability to keep playing, you can keep doing it. But right now the Wolves, they need to find a little bit of heart on the field. They're stuck in their own half, and they need to find a way to break out like they have done just now on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, and I will say they have done a much better job defensively this game, as that ball, unfortunately, is going to fly over the top of Carshall. I have done it again, ladies and gentlemen. I am so sorry.
Welcome to what is genuinely known as the Fallen Curse. It follows me everywhere, but someone will jinx it. Ball don't lie, with another goal to his name. He's the top goal scorer, would you believe, for the Ducks this season for their Foundation League team. 18 goals to his name coming into this one. Another couple in that first game, another one or two here, and he's looking on to be in that top 10 for goals if he keeps up this sort of performance.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful pass attempt there from Dr. Barnes to Ball Don't Lie. That's not something that I'm used to seeing at the Foundation League level, but oh my goodness, Ball Don't Lie trying to fight with this. Carshall tries to come in, slams into the wall, and unfortunately that ball is going to get cleared out, and now Dr. Barnes and Ball Don't Lie have an open line to the net if Barnes gets control of it. Unfortunately is unable to, just hands it right back off, and we go right back to slamming back into walls, but Ball Don't Lie finally is able to put that one in. 4-0 in favor of the Ducks, and a hat trick for Ball Don't Lie.
Yeah, the rotation broke down a little bit there from you, but had no boost, needed to go in for the ball. He felt didn't have anything in the tank to get back when he got beat, and it just sort of broke down the rotation completely. That allows Ball Don't Lie to just walk that ball in, to let it come across the net. Now Yupa, with no boost, will look for the flick, will instead allow Dr. Barnes to flick it. That one's in front of the net. Carshall off target. Almost. We'll keep it alive though. Yupa's there, but Barnes with an incredible pinch off his own backboard to clear that one away. It feels like the Wolves have had a little bit more offense in the last minute than I feel like they had in the entirety of game number one, but they are still competitive. They are still here, even 4 goals down. They are not giving up just yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That offensive sequence was the best that I've seen out of them this entire series so far, but Ball Don't Lie punishing the missed touches there by both Wolves players. Buries it to the back of the net for his 4th goal of the game.
Very interesting attempt there from Carshall. Very uncomfortable on the back line. Looks to go up the backboard and jump off to make the read. Fair call, but when you're rotating like that, it's a very difficult one, as Ball Don't Lie has one of the worst kickoffs I've ever seen. Shades of OCE on that one. If anyone remembers what I'm talking about, you get a gold star for this week's RLCS homework. But for Dr. Barnes, this has been an A-star performance from him. Has been arguably the best player on the field so far. Carshall will once again get a single goal for the Wolves at about the 1.5 minute mark to hopefully start another comeback. But they are on the board, and they now have 2 goals against the Ducks, 12 so far this series.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
And I'm pretty sure Ball Don't Lie just kind of wants to erase the whole last 30 seconds of this game from the kickoff to that unfortunate missed touch there at the midfield line, which let Carshall score, but Dr. Barnes says, don't worry about it, man. I got you, and puts it up 6-1 in favor of the Ducks. They're just absolutely handing it to the Wolves this series so far.
A good attempt there from Yupa. Comes back off the kickoff, almost gets in front of that shot. It's very difficult to get back in time to make those saves, but you have to remember that this is not, in fact, their strongest lineup. The Wolves are not fielding lineup number A. They are not fielding their well, if we were to have a team in the playoffs, it would be these guys playing consistently. No, they are trying to utilize their depth in roster. They have, I believe, 7 players currently rostered on their team alongside these two. So 5 of the players that could have been playing, these 2 were the ones available for this time. And Carshall proving why he is one of the I would say a valuable commodity on the Foundation League side, as he makes 2 epic saves to keep that one at bay and looks for the counter-attack of his own. Inebriated Yupa will probably be the next one to this ball.
Yeah, and you know, don't let Carshall's 60 years of age fool you. He is actually an extremely solid player, especially in the Foundation League. He seems to have a good understanding of where to place the ball and how to make these saves, as he puts a shot on there, just unfortunately not able to make it happen. Has a chance here to get over ball line, and he does! And we see it go 6-2, still in favor of the Ducks, but the Wolves have their 3rd goal of the series under their belt.
Carshall with arguably an MVP performance in this game. 5 saves, 2 goals for 3 shots. His shooting accuracy has been brilliant throughout. Only 4 shots from the Wolves. Every time they've come forward, they've made it count. And really, it comes down to, can they just be a little bit more consistent in getting on the offense? Carshall here's going to have an open net to shoot at. Can he put it on target? It's the hardest one to shoot at. It's off the post and back out in front of the net, and he takes it away from Yupa. Hunting for that hat trick, couldn't get it. Dr. Barnes with an aerial attempt will falter and will not be able to keep it up. The Ducks will take game number 2, 6-2. But that one was a much more promising ending for the Wolves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They definitely showed a much more intense spark there offensively than they did in Game 1, looking like they're kind of trying to feel their opponents out a little bit better than they did. Unfortunately, the shot counter still just not in their favor. 12 shots from the Ducks to only 5 from the Wolves. But, you know, of those 12 shots, Carshall saving 5 of them just by himself. So, you know, as you said, definitely MVP level performance from Carshall this game too.
Yeah, and really, it all comes down to, are the Ducks going to be able to keep up this level of offensive pressure? Are they going to be able to keep the Wolves' pen in their half and capitalize on rotational mistakes, or just keep getting those consistent beats? Because really, the way they've been winning is they've been slightly the more mechanical side of the two. They've just been able to beat out the Wolves in terms of just pure ability with the ball. And apart from the occasional blur of brilliance from Carshall, there hasn't really been much to write home about in the Wolves side of things for the mechanical side of things. It has been a little lackluster, a little bit almost non-existent, you could make the argument, from both Carshall and Yupa. But as we move to Forbidden Temple, arguably the best, most, I would say, beautiful map on the rotation, I think this is a chance for the Wolves to find their way back in.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely have a chance here. I will say one thing that I'm seeing from them is that they are taking a lot of risks on defense, but risks in kind of a good way. Like akin to that backboard save that I believe Carshall tried to make last game. They're putting themselves in positions to force themselves to make good plays, and you're not going to improve as a player if you don't do that. You know, you have to force yourself to make those difficult saves, those difficult shots, those difficult plays. Otherwise, you're never going to learn how to do it, and that is something that I'm really enjoying seeing out of the Wolves, and it would not surprise me to see those mechanical skills start improving over the course of the season if they're consistently doing that.
Yeah, we know those that it's very difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. These 2 old dogs, though, are, well, they are throwing themselves at this one. They are wanting to be the Magician's favourite pet, but can they keep the Ducks at bay? The Ducks, of course, flying all over the map, and they are slamming more in the back of the net. It took a little longer than it normally does for them to score a goal, but they have found one. Bordon Live beating out 2 players to tee up Dr. Barnes. It's 1-0.
So what I love about this goal is that Dr. Barnes and Ball Don't Lie basically looked at the shot attempt that Carshall and Yuper had on their side of the field and turned it right around and went, no, hold on, guys. This is how you do it. And then did the exact same offensive play, and it resulted in a goal. So great pass and shot there from them as Carshall gets a beautiful save coming in. That was definitely a difficult shot to save as, Carshall unfortunately getting bit by the backflip bug, and Ball Don't Lie squeezes one past him, 2-0 in favor of the Ducks.
You can tell Yupa's having a little bit of fun at his own teammates' expense. It tells him he's teasing him, old man. Our Yupa, he barely knows that he's double my age. It's very interesting to see someone who's only 10 years younger and someone calling them old man. I feel like I do that way too often with many of the members of the broadcast team who themselves are old men. Kay is going to absolutely murder me for that one. But either way, we're going to focus back on the gameplay. And the gameplay states that once again, the Ducks are in control of a game in this series. But there is a positive to take for the Wolves. They are a little bit closer this time around. It feels like they are starting to bridge that, that 4.5 salary gap that is between them collectively. They're doing better. It's just about putting the end product together now.
Absolutely, and I've been saying this since game 2, is unfortunately Dr. Barnes has another open net in front of him and puts that one in for the third goal of the game for the Ducks. I had a train of thought and it's gone.
Yeah. Now, welcome to commentating again in our Foundation League series. You can have a thought and it's just gone in an instant because the next play has happened already. But for the Wolves, this has been another disheartening start to a game, another 3-0 deficit. The chances are that it will be made into 4 unless they can find a way to put this one home. Partial. We're going to put that one centered, bottom lie, just about flicking that one away from Yupa, who dove in. And now the Wolves having a back pedal. Carshall, last man back. Good 50 from Baldone Lie. And Dr. Barnes with another beautifully placed shot. Gets his hat trick. Gets the playmaker for Baldone Lie. That's his third assist. And just like that, the Wolves seem all but out of this series.
Yeah, and I'll give Dr. Barnes the full credit for that. That was a beautiful shot. I'm Academy League, and I get beat by shots like that all the time. But, the one thing that I'm seeing consistently out of the Wolves here is that, as you said, they are starting to close the gap just a little bit. I recalled what my point was going to be earlier, and that's that it seems like they're starting to learn how their opponents are playing a little bit and starting to adjust and adapt to that. It's just obviously taking them a little bit longer to do so. So hopefully, come game 4, game 5, they'll start being a little more competitive. But beautiful play downfield by Baldo Lie. Carshall going up to try and make something happen. Does get stuck in his own net. Unfortunately, Baldo Lie wisely choosing to turn away from that instead of trying to make another shot as this ball is still in the Wolves' side of the field.
Yes, remember the Ducks currently in a playoff spot. In terms of Foundation League, the way the playoffs work, it is the top 2 teams from each division. And right now, both teams in completely different divisions. The Wolves in the Arctic division alongside the Foxes, Sabres, and Puffins. Meanwhile, the Ducks in the Sky division alongside the Aviators, Hawks, and Hive. Oh, and a big opportunity there for the team from the Arctic division, from the Wolves, to put that one home, but couldn't find a way to slam it on target. Good 50 from Carshall will keep this one alive. Can the Wolves push forward here and get their first goal of game 3? No, as the clock begins to tick down to the final minute and a half. It has felt more dominant from the Ducks, less so than in the previous 2 games, but at the same time, the Wolves have still not had an answer for this consistent, continued pressure, and they have found their way to get forward.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is that the Ducks are actually actively utilizing each other. I've seen so many passing plays between Barnes and Baldo Lie that have resulted in goals or in very favorable offensive possessions, and they're definitely using that to their advantage. It's something that I haven't really seen out of the Wolves just yet. I'm hoping that at some point in the series they can maybe put it together as Huber finally gets a shot on, but Barnes makes a miraculous save there off the top wall as Baldo Lie puts it right over the top of Huber for the 5th goal of the game. 1 goal away from his own hat trick, as Barnes has one as well.
Yeah, great touch there from Baldo Lie. Puts it in the most awkward positions where if Yupa makes just a weak touch on that ball, he's just sending it straight down the middle, right into his own net. He needs to get a flick over the top, and trying to line that up and time it is really a difficult task in this case. That's a great clear from Baldo Lie, and this time though, Yupa will make the catch and put it into the corner. The Wolves looking to try and hold on defense. Carshall will go up and will get that one away in the nick of time. Baldo Lie was there to make the touch. Now Barnes puts it up onto the backboard. Both Wolves players are there, but a good touch away from Yupa will get it to just about the midway line. Still pressure though, mounting, shot on target. Yupa will get a save. Can he find the follow-up save? No, he can't. Dr. Barnes, great read to make it 6-0. The Ducks, they have this series in the bag now, and it feels like they're just scoring for fun.
Yeah, nothing wrong with padding the stat column. And unfortunately for the Wolves, this is just something that happens in Foundation League. There's such a wide breadth of skill levels, ranging obviously from the bottom of the skill barrel in bronze all the way up to something in platter or low diamond. I'm not even 100% sure anymore. But so there's just such a wide level of skill, and this game is an example of the matchups that can happen, unfortunately, in this league, as the Wolves are just looking outclassed by this Ducks roster, as Ball Don't Lie, I believe, finally gets his hat trick 7-0 in favor of the Ducks.
Yeah, and that is another goal for the top goal scorer of the Ducks so far for the Foundation League 2 side of things. And really, for the Wolves, this is it's a series that's already done and dusted, but it is not all hope lost for them. 5-10 series record. You don't get 5 games without taking a couple in your losses. That's right, we are going to play all 5 games in this series, as is the tradition for minor league esports. And for the Wolves, games 4 and 5 are arguably games where the Ducks are going to maybe let off the throttle a little bit, and you'll have a little bit more wiggle room, but you've got to find more consistent pressure and consistent offense, because you're getting broken down on a more shot-to-shot basis than the Ducks are, and it's not really helping your chances of getting anything back in this one if you're not able to cope with every single shot being put on target.
Right, and I think the biggest thing for them is, and I've kind of mentioned it a little bit in this game, is going to be seeing if they can put together even just some basic passing plays. Because especially at the Foundation League level, if you can clearly and cleanly pass the ball to your teammate and put them into a position to get a good shot on goal, that is going to throw off defenses all over the place in this league, even the Ducks potentially, if the Wolves are able to put some shots on, as the Wolves only had 2 shots on goal, only one of them getting saved by Dr. Barnes. So the Wolves definitely have an opportunity to get some offense going here, but they have to start utilizing each other a little bit more than they are.
Yeah, and the best place to do that, I would say, is Utopia Coliseum at a beautiful time of day. It is getting a little later now in the United States of America, and it's also getting quite late here, as it is, in fact, over midnight. It is now actually 1 in the morning as we get going for game number 4 of this game of 5-game series. The Ducks are going to continue their dominant form. The Wolves are going to find some form in this one. Yupa will look to start things off for them aggressively, getting in the faces of Borderline Lion. Dr. Barnes will actually force them to be penned in their own half for the better part of 20 seconds, but a bad touch left from Yupa will give Borderline Lion the clearance that they needed, that the Ducks needed. The carry, the flick off the post, beautiful solo play tee-up from Borderline Lion, and Dr. Barnes only has to make solid contact with the ball to put it home. How about that, a kickoff game number 4?
Yeah, and this is exactly why the Ducks are sitting second ranked in their division. You know, just such solid play coming out of these 2 players. Again, this is Foundation League, but the 2 of these guys definitely playing well above their salaries, and definitely seem like they've been playing together for quite a while. The chemistry is definitely there, and they're just putting on a show here on how to play good 2s at the Foundation League level, as Ball Don't Lie puts another shot on goal, tying it up with his teammate there. 1 goal apiece, 2 goals for the Ducks.
Yeah, great goal there for Borderline Lion. Really, you want to point to one factor on the Ducks? There isn't one. It is a cohesive unit, is what I was about to say before I luckily stopped myself. We're still going to put that into the world, as Dr. Barnes will make it 3. It doesn't feel like there is one individual player doing all the work, or one individual player just better than the rest. It is a teamwork basis that has built this one up for them. Ball Don't Lie, teeing up chances more often than he's putting them home, but he's still putting them home often enough to be a threat all across the board. Dr. Barnes is arguably the most mechanically skilled player I have seen in Foundation League this week. He's looking very, very strong, and really the Wolves have had no answer for their collective might, and it has really cost them. As the games have worn on, as the time has wound down in each of them, they've just not been able to keep up with the pace, as Yupa will send that one off the post, and it will be cleared back into the Wolves' half. Here's an opportunity. Dr. Barnes, for the first time in I think about 10 shots, has not put that one in the back of the net, and the Wolves will have to try and hold on defense once again.
Yeah, and one thing that I did want to point out about the Wolves is that despite the fact that these games have clearly not been going in their favor, as this ball heads towards the Ducks line but does get turned away by Ball Don't Lie, is that the Wolves are having fun with this game. I've been seeing that in the general chat. They're enjoying themselves. Despite being down as hard as they have been and as much as they have, they're at least trying to make some fun out of it, as Dr. Barnes puts the 4th goal on for his team and collects his hat trick for this game 4.
Yeah, great job there. Once again, that teamwork play. Borderline playing the playmaker role. We've seen him get playmaker more times than I can count. But every single shot that they have put on target so far found the back of the net. Is this about to be 5? Yes, it is. Off the kickoff, Borderline will make it 5 for 5. And the Wolves don't have a single shot to their name. Well, that is a little bit... It's a little bit fortunate for a kickoff goal. I think we can both agree, but it is still a kickoff goal, and it is still one that will count at the end of the day. Are the Wolves going to find some goals in this one? They only have 2 in the series, but also 3 in the series. My apologies. They still have the ability to find them. It'll just take a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they still have 3 minutes left in this game. You know, it doesn't matter how good the Ducks are compared to the Wolves. They have every opportunity to get a couple of goals still in this game as Carshall tries to make a save there, ends up not needing to. Ooh. But a great 50 there by Carshall off a ball, don't lie. Great read from him. Good free jump. Definitely not something I was expecting to see. But, you know, the Wolves, if they can put together some good plays and get some good clears in their favor, I think they'll start seeing some much more consistent offense going forward.
Dr. Barnes, that's on target, and there will be no save. It's just a good goal from Dr. Barnes. Catches out one clean with the aerial, rotates around it. Carshall jumping backwards into his own net. You never want to do that. It's a series of almost unforced errors at times from the Wolves. They're just not able to be competitive, and it's very rare that we see series like this nowadays on the minor league esports stream, especially with the way that the new MMR system has been implemented, as Borderline will secure his hat trick. But one thing I want to point out is the fact that, yes, there is still a huge salary difference between these two teams. That will normally indicate that there is a huge quality difference between the two teams. And for the Ducks, that is something that they are... that is something that I think they're going to be proud of. The fact that they have that, 4.5 salary advantage, being 16.5s against a total of a 12 team. And they're able to do so and keep that and then play up to that convincingly. There has been very little in this series that has hinted at an opportunity for the Wolves to be competitive.
Yeah, and you know, it's like I said, that salary difference at a point does make a massive impact, and there's not really anything you can do when there's that big of a difference. Another thing that I've been thinking about all series is even more so than the salary difference, the age difference, as Barnes puts another shot on, making it 8-0 in favor of the Ducks. It could just also be a factor of that, you know, Uper and Carshall being more experienced in life than Ball and Dr. Barnes potentially just don't have as much time to play the game as some other players because, you know, life, you know, and energy and all this other kind of thing. So again, they definitely are making the most of this. They're having a great time out here despite being down as much as they are, and I definitely respect them for that. But I think, as we've been saying, as Ball Don't Lie buries the 9th goal of the game, I think the Ducks are just running away with this series.
And great job there from Borderline. Actually doubles that one off of the... bounces it off the post. As you asked a couple of decent questions in there, and that does bring up a poignant question. He's asking, he thought the old men were playing tonight. So what happened to that? It's meant to be the old men's classic game. In terms of the Ducks, what are the ages of the two players?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's one of those things I didn't know about.
Yeah, I mean, Uper and Carshall are the first time that I've really had any inkling of the age of players. It's not something that I really think about too much. I know that in other leagues that I've been in, I've seen father-son duos, as Carshall finally gets one in Game 4, and the Wolves go on the board.
The Wolves with their 4th goal in a series compared to the Ducks. Let's not count them. It has been a series that you will regret, you will live to regret, and will definitely live in the back of your mind for the rest of your time in MLE. However, they have found a way to put it home, and they have found a goal, finally. It comes off of a little bit of a mistake from the Ducks defense, a rare mistake from Barnes and Borderline, but they will take advantage of it, and the Wolves, maybe, are going to try and turn this one around going into Game 5. It would be a historic comeback if they're able to take Game 5, since, well, we can pretty much chalk up a 9-1 as over and done with. Karshal slams that one into the backboard, and Yupa not able to find contact with it. This could be a counter-attacking goal here for the Ducks. I'd be surprised if it wasn't a passing play. Border and Live for the first time, not able to find the connection. I said it was always going to be a bit tentative on those ones, and proves it as this one winds down. The Wolves once again will drop another one. This is now 4 games in a row for the Ducks, who have looked comprehensively the better side as they move to Game 5, looking for the full sweep.
Yeah, and you know, as we've been saying, there's not really much that the Wolves can do at this point with the salary difference being as much as it is. There is just a skill gap between these two players, and that is no disrespect to Karshal or Uber. It's just the facts placed in front of us that Ball Don't Lie and Dr. Barnes are just on a completely different level. And you know, I'm hoping that, you know, Karshal and Uber can maybe overcome some of that going into this Game 5 and at least make it a little bit more competitive in this Game 5. But I mean, 10 shots on for the Ducks, 9 goals in. There's not really much you can do about that.
Yeah, the Ducks currently sitting now, if we're counting up our current results, at a 12-7 in terms of their game record, which is quite a healthy margin. But they're going to make it 13-7 with this game win. If the Wolves are able to pull one back, they will move to a 6-14, which is not unsalvageable. At 5-15, you're starting to push it a little bit, but these series, they're only, I believe, 10 in a FL series as opposed to the 16 in a ALCL or MLFL, as IPL also follows the same standard as we move. Well, we don't really move. We're still on Utopia Coliseum. Apparently, this is the map that was chosen for the final game. It feels like there is still a possibility for the Wolves to get one, but it would require something akin to a minor miracle, I want to go with. No disrespect intended, just simply going off of what I've seen.
Yeah, and I'll do you one better and additionally say no disrespect and upgrade that from a minor to a major miracle. Again, no offense, it's just the quality of play, as we've been saying, is just so much better on the side of the Ducks as Ball Don't Lie just erases Uber from the map temporarily. And we see Barnes here trying to make a push. Gets it right past Karshal, but Uber is there to make the save. And I just want to see a little bit more fight out of the Wolves in this game than we've seen the rest of this series.
Yeah, and they're currently giving a little bit of one, but this is about the point in every single series so far, in every single game, that the Ducks have been able to put the first one home, and it's been a bit of a snowball from there on. With good defensive work from Yupa and Karshal, just about keep that one at bay. Great timing though from Ball Don't Lie, and just like that, beats one, beats the second, and it's a goal already for the Ducks. It has taken a little longer, but they have found their first goal inside of a minute every single game this series.
Yeah, and this was still a beautiful play from Ball Don't Lie, being able to squeak that one right past the Wolves defenders and put it accurately on target with decent speed. And so, you know, I think the Ducks have a lot to look forward to going into the rest of the season here. Again, currently finding themselves sitting in second, depending on how the rest of the games turn out, definitely fighting for that first spot in their division going into the rest of the season. And if they have Ball Don't Lie and Dr. Barnes continuing to play like this, you know, even against players closer to their skill level, I think they've got a pretty good chance of making a run this season.
Yeah, quickly trying to look up the Foundation League standings for you so I can actually bring you their exact positioning, as that one will find the back of the net. Ball Don't Lie makes it 2. Good goal from him to put this one home. Just catching that one clean. It's so slow, but there's no defender back. Yupa running down the midfield, Karshal running down the side wall. There's nothing that you really need to do except for putting it on target, and well, that's what Ball Don't Lie did. He put it on target, they find the back of the net once again, and again, extending the lead rather quickly after scoring the first goal, although it has taken them a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to put some in, as the Wolves have actually looked mildly competitive in game number 5, which is always a positive thing to see.
Yeah, exactly. Their 50s have been really good. Their positioning has been a lot better. One thing I was going to point out about the Ducks is Dr. Barnes puts another one over the top of Carshall, doing the best he can to make that save, but unfortunately unable to do so. Is that a lot of the Ducks' passing plays are coming from the fact that their offensive positioning is extremely good for Foundation League players. That last goal from Ball Don't Lie is a perfect example of it, where he was just in the right place at the right time where he needed to be. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing out of the Ducks going into the rest of the season, if they can keep that offensive rotation and positioning as strong as it is.
Well, unfortunately for the Ducks, there's very little they can do to catch up to the Hawks, who are currently sat at 18-2 in their season. Yeah, so it is a wide gap. However, with this, they are comfortably ahead of their next closest rivals in the Aviators and the Hive. Hive 7-13, Aviators 5-10. Although on the standing sheet I'm looking at the Aviators non-existent. But right now, another opportunity for the Ducks to extend that. Couldn't find the target. Was Ball there on the offensive side and not able to put it home. The Wolves will be able to set on defense as they look to try and break out pressure building. The challenge is surprisingly good there from Carshall. That one will tee up an opportunity. Can he get there first? He can! Oh, but Ball Don't Lie. Great recovery touch. Will clear that one down the field. He has had a very strong game number 5. Hasn't scored on every chance, but has definitely put more on target than he has done in previous ones. Has been both offensive and playmaker. There's very little more you could ask from a player.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Barnes, right in that instance, showing another thing that the Ducks have done so well. I have not seen very much boost on the side of the Wolves this entire series, and I think that the Ducks have just done a fantastic job of maintaining ball control, but then also maintaining general field control, which is not something you see very often from FL players. Is that unfortunately is a good pinch in favor of the Ducks, goes flying right over the top of Uper, and there's just nothing he can really do about that one as the Ducks go up 4-0.
Yeah, the Wolves themselves sat at a 5-10. They will move at this rate to the bottom of the standings, going down to be a little lower than their divisional rivals in the Sabres, who are sat at a 6-14. And the Wolves moving to that 5-15 at this rate, as Dr. Barnes will, I would say, seal it with his hat trick, makes it 5-0. The Ducks themselves not going to push up into that upper echelon. They'll move to a 13-7, which is still behind the Puffins, who are set at a 15-5, but depending on how results go across the rest of the board, things could change rather quickly in terms of these divisions, in terms of their conference side of things, and well, we may not see the Wolves down in the bottom half for that much longer if they can start putting together some results.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is exactly the kind of series that the Ducks needed to have going into the rest of this season to put themselves in a good spot as we eventually start getting closer to playoffs, to put themselves in position for a good playoff spot. And again, I think that this particular lineup of Ball Don't Lie and Dr. Barnes has the potential to be extremely dangerous for them going forward because, as I said, the chemistry between these two players seems very, very strong as Barnes tries to put a shot on there, but Uper turns that one away.
And it's very interesting, the fact that this is Barnes' first series in MLE, at least for Season 12. He has not played with Ball Don't Lie in a series already this season, and has come out of the gates this strong with them. It has been a very positive sign, especially for Nick, the FM of the Ducks, who is probably just smiling from ear to ear right now, as Dr. Barnes will make it 6. It was originally 5-0 in the scoreline. That, I think, has summarized the entire series in a nutshell. It has been dominance. Every single game, at least 6 goals scored from the Ducks. A maximum of 9 in game number 4. But the Wolves themselves have not been without goals. They will find one in game number 5, making it only game 3 that they did not score in. And Uper finally getting a good B over the top, good 50 to slam that one in. And the Wolves will take that as a true consolation goal for their 5th goal of the series.
Something like that, yeah. And I feel like the Wolves would have been significantly more competitive if not for that just absolutely massive barrier of the salary gap that they're looking at. As unfortunately, Uper gets a decent decent foundation level miss here as that ball will roll in for the Brazil in this game 5. And I think the Wolves definitely still have some potential going forward, based on the other players that they have. But if they play this lineup again, they're just going to have to hope that the salary gap isn't as big next time.
Yeah, this one, sorry for the yawning there, I got caught off guard by that one. It is getting late in the United Kingdom, but this one will eventually touch the floor. Kershaw attempted to double tap it in off his own backboard. It will hit the floor. The Ducks will take their Brazil win, finally taking one home with that 7-1 scoreline, and like that, the series comes to an end. 5-0 sweep for the Ducks in arguably the most convincing fashion you can do it. You finish with a Brazil, you dominate every game, you get 6 or more goals every game, and the most you ever concede is 2. Game 2. That's how many they lost consecutively. It was a strong performance from Dr. Barnes and from Border and Lai. Those two players living up to their round the mid-tier, going into the upper echelons of FL salaries that they have, and the chemistry. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's some extremely good chemistry. I'll say there's good chemistry on both sides of the field here. But if Ball Don't Lie and Dr. Barnes come out like that, and that's Dr. Barnes' first main series with the Ducks, then either they've played together before, or they did a lot of offline scrims, or they just have that natural chemistry, which is so rare to find. But I think those two players are going to be extremely dangerous, let alone the rest of the Ducks roster going forward. But, congratulations to the Ducks for taking this series. The Wolves putting up the best fight that they absolutely could, with the combined 110 years of age on the team, oldest Rocket League team I have ever seen. They put up a great fight and did the absolute best that they could. And hey, I kept saying it, they were having fun with it the entire time. So, GG's to them, obviously. And I believe the next matchup on the docket is going to be an Academy League matchup between the Lightning and the Jets.
Yeah, 2 series matchups, same as this one you've just seen. I personally won't be here for it. I'm heading to bed now, but Oddfellow will be here alongside a mysterious second caster. We'll let you figure that out when it comes up onto the screen. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back after this short break for some more high-octane Rocket League action.